Girls, we're building our best lives over. What are you doing? Girls, over here, we're building our best lives, and that includes how you age. I just turned 40, and if I could talk to my 20-year-old self, I would tell her to start these habits that I'm going to share with you in this video yesterday. When I was in my 20s, I didn't care about my health, my finances, I didn't care about my career. All I really cared about was traveling, finishing university, going out. It's good if you live your best life in your 20s, but if you're not actually putting any effort into your anti-aging early on, it's gonna catch up with you. And I really wish I would have known one thing, because I think this is something that most people are not really aware of, especially if you're not super into the wellness space. This is something that a lot of people haven't even heard about, and that is inflammation. Inflammation is literally the silent age accelerator. And this is why in this video today, we're going to talk about different anti-aging hacks that are lowering inflammation. You need to understand the concept of inflammaging, because your chronic low-grade inflammation is damaging your skin, even in your 20s already. It's damaging your joints, your organs, your mental health, because it will damage your brain over the years. And in your 20s, you don't care about this. Yeah, you don't care about when you're in your 50s. But I'm in my 40s now, guys. And now looking back, I'm like, damn it, I should have really started so much earlier. Think about inflammation like a slow burn inside of your body that erodes collagen, and that speeds up every sign of aging. Lifestyle habits, especially, that are increasing inflammation in your body and then speeding up the signs of aging, which is loads of wrinkles, cognitive decline, problems with your inner organs, a bad immune system, hormonal problems. These can all be linked back to high markers of inflammation in your body. And lifestyle factors that has an impact on this is your diet, your movement, your stress, and your gut care. Generally, inflammation is not a bad thing, okay? It's just your immune system's natural response to something that it sees as a threat, like an injury, like an infection, like a toxin. And acute inflammation is the good kind of inflammation. Think of it as a cut when you cut yourself that gets red, warm, and puffy. Yeah, that is a normal response of your body, because your immune cells then rush in to fight the germs and to start healing. But then there's something called chronic inflammation, and that is when it becomes problematic. This is when the immune responses never really fully switch off, and that is often down to factors like ongoing stress, excess sugar, like a really bad diet, lots of alcohol, poor sleep, gut imbalances. When the inflammation is chronic, your body keeps releasing chemical messengers called cytokines, and they are meant to fight the danger, but there is no real infection to heal because it is an underlying chronic inflammation. It's not actually like an injury or a heavy workout that you did. So over time, those chemicals, they actually start to damage your healthy tissues, and that means it will break down collagen and speed up the aging process. I don't want to scare you with this. Yeah, we're all experiencing it, and it's not about never eating sugar again or drinking alcohol. It's just about incorporating habits that will help you to decrease inflammation. You're never gonna get completely rid of it, and that's okay. Yeah, we're all gonna age, guys. It's fine. We're all gonna have wrinkles eventually, but there are processes that can help you to stay as healthy and beautiful as long as you can. It's not just about the looks, right? It's also about not having cognitive decline, walking around like this, when you're older, but having a straight posture, having good healthy joints, having muscle tissue, especially for women. This is so important. So let's dive into the habits. Number one, I already kind of mentioned it, and that is posture training and awareness. I wish I would have known about this in my 20s. My posture is really bad just now. When I see videos of myself or photos, I'm just like this. I'm like, what am I doing? Stand up. It's so important that you start incorporating posture training as soon as possible, because I see so many young girls in their early 20s that already have terrible posture, guys. Don't have terrible posture. First of all, it looks bad, but also it's just gonna get worse and worse and worse. There is no time for you to have bad posture in your 20s. Why does it matter? Youthful appearance. Upright posture instantly makes you look taller, leaner, and more energetic. Joint protection. Proper alignment reduces wear on the spine. This is kind of what you want. Guys, I'm sorry, I sound like a grandma, but this is so important, because you really want to prevent chronic pain and stiffness. Yes, you might be in your 20s and you're not going to experience any stiffness. Guys, it's going to come. You don't have to experience stiffness and joint pains in your mid 40s or early 50s. It's preventable. Then better breathing and circulation. Yeah, when you walk like this. An open chest and aligned spine allow deeper breathing, better oxygen flow, which supports your brain health. And then confidence. Guys, when you walk up straight, you will know this. When you like walk up this and not like this, you're gonna feel more confident. You're gonna feel more like a badass. And especially as women, we need to feel like badasses a bit more. Here's how you're gonna start. And this is what I'm doing because I'm in my good posture era. Basically, what you wanna do is you wanna do daily little posture checks. First of all, you really have to call yourself out. This is the most difficult thing because it's not your habit and it's not natural for you to just always walk like this. It feels super unnatural. Then what I would also recommend, and I'm gonna start doing this now, is a stronger core, like more Pilates, more core exercises. Your core is literally the center of your body, and when you have a strong core, this will help to keep the spine up. You will take a lot of work from the back muscles when you have a strong core. And then general strength training is important, and especially building your back and shoulder muscles. Then make sure when you work from home, because I'm someone who works from home, that you have a standing desk. I would honestly recommend you invest in this. It's like 200 euros or something, but it's so worth it because then you can actually stand up and work instead of always sitting like this. I'm literally like hunching over. You don't want to hunch over. That is the worst. Like you really want to practice standing up straight. And then what I would recommend is that you do certain posture exercises. Look up on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube how to like fix your posture. Next thing is consistent strength training. So this kind of falls into that, but you need to prevent age-related muscle loss. This is so important. And I did not care about this in my 20s. All I cared about was cardio and burning calories. I wish I would have started way earlier. First of all, if you build muscle, that burns more calories, more than fat tissue. And a lot of cardio will just make you skinny fat. And that's not really what you want. Like you want to be lean and muscly. That comes from, you don't need to go lift in the gym. I say this all the time. I don't lift in the gym. I do workouts with weights. Like that's important. You need to use weights and you need to increase your weights. Progressive overload. The way you build muscle is by constantly challenging yourself to lift heavier. And if you're a Pilates girly, there are loads of strength Pilates classes where they actually use weights in the Pilates class. Next thing is you need to prioritize protein. My grandma didn't eat any protein when she got older. She just like turned into this little shadow of herself. She was only sitting like this in her little chair. This is not going to happen to us girlies. This is what happens when you don't eat any protein, when you don't do any strength training, and you don't do any posture training. Amino acids are the building blocks of your muscle. Amino acids are also the building blocks of collagen that helps to keep your skin firm. So what you want to do is you want to eat at least 100 grams of protein per day. People say, oh, 1 gram per pound of body weight. Yes, you can do that, but at the end of the day, I think it's easier to just aim for 100 grams because I can tell you girlies, you probably not even get that. It's not actually that easy to even get 100 grams. You need to prioritize protein in every meal. I've been a pescatarian for a very long time. I told you I'm 40. I started being a pescatarian when I was 13. All of my 20s, I did not eat meat. And I was also not like a yogurt girly like I am now. I just did not eat any protein. I ate fish very rarely sometimes, but not a lot. I ate a proper vegetarian diet. Like I ate cheese and I ate some eggs. I probably ate 30 grams of protein. I did zero strength training. I only did cardio. I just wish I had the awareness around nutrition, around muscle building and how it is important, because when you're in your 20s you don't really care about age. But if someone had told me, hey, muscle burns more calories and you're gonna be skinny fat if you just do cardio, that would have probably helped me. Next thing is you want to prioritize gut health over being skinny. That was my main goal back then, was just to like lose weight and be on a diet. But actually, if I just had prioritized gut health and fed my body the way it should be fed to boost gut health, I would have lost weight anyway. Why does it matter? A diverse gut microbiome reduces systemic inflammation. And systemic inflammation is what really drives the skin aging. And a healthy digestion also means better absorption of wrinkle-fighting nutrients, vitamin Z, zinc, and all the antioxidants that you consume when you eat a high-fiber whole food diet. I have a whole video on gut health and what to eat for gut health, so make sure to look into this. I'm gonna link this down below, but here are a few pointers for you. You want to increase your fermented foods, your probiotics. This is your kimchi, this is your kefir, this is your miso, this is your sauerkraut. Make sure it is unpasteurized, okay? Unpasteurized sauerkraut, so it needs to be in the fridge and it needs to say unpasteurized with live bacteria bacteria, and the same goes for kimchi. It needs to be fresh. It needs to be in the fridge section. Same goes for kefir. Same goes for miso. If the miso is pasteurized, there is no live bacteria in there. And you need to do this a few times a week. It doesn't help if you eat a lot of fermented food for like 2 days and then you don't eat anything for a month. It needs to be something that is consistent. A little bit of sauerkraut, a little bit of kefir, a little bit of kimchi every day is better than eating a lot like one day and then nothing for the rest of the week. So I add kefir every morning to my yogurt bowl. Then you want to rotate fiber-rich plants. We want to aim for 30 different kinds of plants a week. I know this sounds like a lot, but it's not just veggie and fruit, right? This is everything. This is grains. This is anything that is a plant that is spices. These are herbs. These are nuts. These are seeds. Because the more diverse your diet is, the more good gut bacteria you're going to have in your gut microbiome. And then you want to lower your alcohol, right? Alcohol is literal poison for your body and it is really bad for your gut health. You don't have to be sober. I'm not sober. I love having a little drinky, but guys, oh my God, I used to drink so much in my 20s and even in my 30s. Like when I lived in the UK, I lived in the UK for 7 years in my 30s. People like to have a drinky over there. I remember like me and my boyfriend, there was a time where we had like a glass of wine like every day. The amount of wine bottles we had at some point, well, I don't do this anymore. I can go weeks without alcohol. It's just so many liquid calories. Like if you are worried about weight loss and you want to, make sure that you keep a lean physique, alcohol are literally just empty calories. The next thing is so important, and I feel like people just always like a bit like, yeah, of course it's important. But I feel like it's almost the most important one, and that is limiting stress. Because stress is something that can become chronic so quickly and you're not even aware of it. That can be if you're stuck in a toxic relationship over a period of time. I see this in one of my best friends who's been in a toxic relationship for years. That aged her. A stressful job. It's fine to have sprints where things are stressful, but if it's something that is chronic over years, that can really be a problem, especially if you don't have any good coping mechanisms. And you can tell when you're like chronically stressed if you are struggling to focus, struggling to concentrate, you're constantly on your phone, like it's hard for you to switch off, you have trouble sleeping. It's really important you find stress coping mechanisms, because sometimes you can't change the job situation and you just need to find ways to cope with your stress, which is not eating, which is not shopping. It should be something that is a healthy coping mechanism. Yeah, a workout can be a healthy coping mechanism. Going for a walk can be a healthy coping mechanism. Journaling, talking to someone, breath work, stretching. Next thing is you need to have a consistent sleep schedule. Guys, when I was in my 20s, do you think I cared about sleep? My motto was, you can sleep when you're dead. I was a party girl, and that's fine. That's an era, we have to go through. I think a little bit more balance would have been good for me in my 20s. And now I'm like such a grandma. Guys, I like to go to bed at like 9:30. I just did an anti-aging morning routine vlog where I kind of walk you through how my morning looks like, and I normally wake up at like 6 a.m. So why does it matter when you sleep? Your growth hormone and your collagen repair peaks during deep sleep. And the best way to do this is when you keep your sleep time consistent. I normally go to bed between 9:30 and 10:30. I'm not a party girl anymore. That's why maybe it's a good thing to do this in your early 20s when you recover quickly, actually, because then you just get it out of your system. And then when you're in your 30s, you're kind of like, oh, I've done this. And sleep is kind of boring when you're young. But when I look back, I'm like, I wish I just would have just been more interested in wellness and how to be healthy. The next thing is something that I only learned like a few years ago, and that is blood sugar regulation. And this is such a game changer for all kinds of problems that you might have, whether that is weight loss, bad sleep, fatigue, craving throughout the day. Don't get like too obsessed about it. I feel like it's so easy online when you like get into the wellness rabbit hole that you can get obsessed about it. And people like the glucose goddess, they are very extreme and they're always very black and white because that's their brand.
And I know a lot of people,
you don't have to be black and white. You just have to be a little bit aware of it and make better choices with this in your mind. You don't have to get a glucose monitor or some, BS like that. And that is exactly what I mean when I say stress, because if you're too stressed about,
oh my God, glucose spike, oh my God, calories, oh my God, ultra-processed food,
that is actually more harmful for you, because that creates more stress in your body than just eating the damn ultra-processed food. Why does glucose matter? Because big glucose spike, and that is like chronic glucose spikes that you have constantly, like when you eat a lot of sugar, that will trigger glycation. The process of glycation is what is harming the collagen in your skin, and that is causing the sagging of the skin. And you being a little bit more aware of having a stable blood sugar. So that means not having pure sugar as the first meal of the day. That's a good example, right? You don't want to have like a sweet Nutella croissant as your first meal. You always want to make sure that you have a blood sugar stabilizing breakfast, which is high in protein, high in fiber. For example, eggs are a good choice. Eggs and avocado, healthy fats. You can still have carbs. You can still have sourdough bread. You can even still have a croissant, but you want to make sure that you pair that with protein and with healthy fats. Stabilizing your blood sugar will protect your energy levels. That means that you don't have this like fatigue moments where you feel like you need to now eat more sweet in order to have energy. And it will also help protect your hormones. What also helps is to balance your blood sugar after a meal, that you go for a short walk. I like to go on a walking pad after a meal or just walk outside for a bit. And you want to prioritize more whole food carbs. So instead of just eating white flour the whole time, croissants, baguette, cereal, you want to increase your whole food carbohydrates, so your high fiber carbohydrates. The next thing is you need to go on walk. Your girl always thought I need to do cardio, but walking is actually so healthy for you. First of all, as I just mentioned, it helps to regulate your blood sugar. When you do walks, not just on your walking pad, but also outside in the daylight, that will help you to boost vitamin D. It will help to regulate your circadian rhythm, so you're actually going to sleep better at night. And vitamin D is important because that will actually help to support your mood. I feel like in winter especially, you are prone to winter depression. Take vitamin D supplements. It helps you to move your body, but not in like a strenuous way like cardio does. So it doesn't also increase your hunger, so you're not gonna like stuff your face and overeat on calories. Cool girls walk. Last thing, and guys, I think that is really one thing that I so wished I would have started earlier. I think I started, early enough to still have an impact, but I think you could really do so much prevention when you start this early enough in your early 20s, maybe even like when you're like a teenager. And that is quality skincare basic, like having a skincare routine morning and evening and just being interested in it. Guys, you have no idea how little I was interested in skincare until like a few years ago when I saw the first signs of aging around my eyes. I was like, what the F is this? And I was like, I need to get on that skincare game. Like, this is not on. Obviously, we are gonna, even with the best skincare, even with Botox, with everything, you will still have signs of aging, but it will be a lot slower and less pronounced. So you need to have a vitamin C in your morning skincare routine. I use normally the C Glow from Geek and Gorgeous. That I think is really good. The problem that I have with that one is that it oxidizes really quickly. I don't think I was ever able to finish a whole bottle before it oxidizes. So when the vitamin C oxidizes, it is yellow and it's then useless. So you don't need to use it anymore. I'm using the one from Transparent Lab. I have not tried it yet, but I just bought one. I heard it's really good, so keep you posted. In the evening, you want to use a retinoid or a retinol or a tretinoin. Tretinoin is the most intense retinoid. You only get that in most countries by prescription. If you're new to retinoids or retinoids, I would definitely start with a gentle one. I'm going to show you one here that is quite beginner friendly. I would recommend something like that, like a retinol that is a lot gentler for your skin. Yeah, it doesn't create any flakiness for you. Then you want to have a really good cleansing routine. I use an oil-based and a foam-based cleanser together, and then I use a toner to get the rest off. If you want to see my whole routine that I have, I'm not going to walk you through this now. Watch my anti-aging video. I have a whole video on anti-aging habits that help me do slow aging. And then what is really, really important is obviously SPF. Your girl wanted to tan. Like back then, in the like early 2000s, being tanned was cool. People went to the tanning studios back then. 80% of visible aging comes from UVA and UVB exposure, the sun, even through windows. Even when you sit at the window all day, maybe that's where your desk is, wear some SPF. These habits will literally set you up for a slow aging approach, for being healthy, for looking your best. If you want more glow up guidance and help to create your best life, make sure to subscribe to my channel and make sure to watch this video next. I already mentioned it and I think you're really gonna love it. Mwah!